Live from Studio G in the heart of America, I'm Steve Gruber, saving the planet one day at a time, saying everything you wish you could. Here from the foxhole of freedom, I'm fighting for you, defending this great nation. This is the Steve Gruber Show, all right? Here are three big things you need to know right now. Number one, Amazon jumping into the healthcare world full speed. One medical healthcare will be offered at just $9 a month to Prime members. Good or bad, you tell me. Number two, the House, under the direction of new Speaker Mike Johnson, moving swiftly to get things done, which was underscored by the first three indictments of the Biden family, including Hunter and brother Jim. We'll have that. Plus, number three, and like I said, I'll get to all that and what those subpoenas could mean, because according to those that are watching this closely, Joe Biden's 85,000 emails under three fake names could include classified information and incriminating evidence of what was going on with the then vice president. Plus, several more emails are likely to come in the days to come, and those emails could mean more subpoenas, and that could include the sitting president of the United States. The question is, how will the administration respond to the new revelations and indictments and subpoenas? All of it is on the horizon. Listen to this.
And something that's just breaking right now. The House Oversight Committee has issued subpoenas for Hunter Biden, James Biden, and Biden family business associate Rob Walker. Do you have a comment on that?
So look, as you just mentioned, it's just breaking, so I don't have this information in front of me. I'm just hearing from you. Certainly, I would refer you to any of the personal representatives on this, on your question. But I will have to say something that I've said many times. This is an investigation that has been going on for a year now and has turned up zero evidence of wrongdoing by the president because there is none. But Republicans continue to double down on a baseless smear campaign against the president and his family. Instead of being focused on the American people's needs, what they're asking for, what is it that they really truly want us to focus on, they continue to double down on this. And there are a lot of important issues that we need to deal with, not just us here in the White House, but also Congress, national security, the economy, health care, gun violence. That's what we should be focusing on. But they continue to try to smear this president and his family on a baseless investigation. And so anything else further, certainly I would refer you to the personal representatives on it. All right, thanks, everybody.
Should they comply with it?
Yeah, there she goes. 85,000 emails, three fake names. Sources now saying that a lot of those emails deal with classified information. Baseless? No, Karine, it's not baseless. But Karine also says Democrats need to take guns away from Americans and ignore the corruption investigations. You heard her say that into the Biden family. Yeah, that pretty well sums it up, doesn't it? I'll keep you informed on that note. But right now, I want to remain focused today on the holy war that's tearing up the Democrats. And you have to wonder, if there wasn't all of this early voting all over the country, would some of those districts in places like Virginia, with high numbers of Jewish voters, would some of those races have flipped to Republicans if they didn't vote a month ago or 6 weeks ago? This is a question that both Democrats and Republicans have to consider. It's clear after this year's off-year election, the GOP kryptonite is abortion. And the Democrats have used this divisive issue to crush Republican hopes all over America. But for the Democrats, it's the open anti-Semitism of many members of Congress and tens of thousands in the streets that are chasing Jewish voters away by the millions, too. And while Republicans seem unable to solve the abortion question, Democrats are equally desperate to get away from the question of whether they support Israel or the Palestinians. You see, supporting both doesn't really work. Equivocating doesn't work. Another day, and another Democrat quibbling about how Israel defends itself. This time, Senator Mark Warner calling for a ceasefire that's not going to happen. Listen.
That there needs to be this humanitarian pause. And I think that is appropriate. And I do think, I hope that some of the scenes we've seen of the level of bombing will not be necessary, because you've now got Israeli troops surrounding Gaza City, and it will be a challenge taking out these tunnels and taking out the Hamas leadership. But clearly, in terms of world opinion, Israel for a number of weeks now has been losing that world opinion consideration, and you see that by protest breaking out everywhere. And again, it's in Israel's best interest not to have the other Arab states that have created Abraham Accord recognitions to drop away from those accords. It's in Israel's best interest to make sure that you don't have this wanton settler violence against Palestinians in the West Bank. And I just hope that the Israeli government recognizes that.
Yeah, we'll see. This is obviously an issue they cannot seem to manage. Joe Biden claims he stands with Israel, but more and more members of his administration are critical of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for pushing the IDF deeper and deeper into Gaza. By the way, another Hamas leader killed overnight. 1,400 Israeli civilians were slaughtered by those same Hamas terrorists that are backed and financed by Iran. The total number of casualties now somewhere around 10,000 following Israel's brutal counteroffensive into Gaza. And again, this exposes the Democrats' internal holy war. It does. They don't know which way to turn. Because on the other side of this debate is Jewish Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who says anyone not condemning Hamas simply has no soul. Listen to her.
I would hope that all members would support a resolution that condemns terrorism, the brutal attacks that were perpetrated against the Israeli people that were killed. We have 218 hostages. They took 222. Someone who votes against this, I would think, doesn't have a soul.
And the divide not just in Congress, but it is across the Democrat Party. From young to old, you see. Yeah, for example, Hillary Clinton back in the sunlight, also a bit frightening in and of itself. But she says a ceasefire, well, she says it's a bad idea. Listen to what Hillary says.
And, I feel so personally committed to trying to figure out how to help the Israelis and the Palestinians live in peace. And I negotiated a ceasefire in November of 2012, so I understand what it takes to try to stop violence. But remember, there was a ceasefire on October 6th that Hamas broke by their barbaric assault on peaceful civilians and their kidnapping, their killing, their beheading, their terrible, inhumane savagery. There was a ceasefire. It did not hold because Hamas chose to break it. So you have to keep several things in your head at the same time, and that is, number one, Hamas is a terrorist organization. It has made very clear it is committed to the elimination of the state of Israel.
Yeah. There's Hillary, everybody, weighing in. I mean, I know you wanted to hear from Hillary, so I thought I'd put her out there for you. I think you've been missing her a little bit. At any rate, this exposes what's going on in the Democrat Party. You've got people like Mark Warner, the senator, saying, oh, we need a ceasefire. Hillary says no ceasefire. Oh, that's a problem because you've got all of these protesters flooding the streets, supporting Palestinians and Hamas and condemning Israel, chanting things like from the river to the sea, like Rashida Tlaib was censured for. Yeah, we've got more of this and more to sort out in just a moment. Good to have you here. Glad to see you. It's the Steve Gruber Show.